Okay, now let's talk about functions. What is this functions? Why you need to know about it? How it makes your life easier? Again, I'm teaching you in my own way. I will teach you in my own way, and then I will link it with your material. If anyone don't like this approach, let me know. I will go with material. It's up to you. What is this functions? Functions are nothing but reusable code. Like someone said, Komal said it in the chat. That's exactly right. Functions are nothing but reusable code. When you're using some code again and again and again and again, we use functions for it. Then you can ask me a question, sir. For loop also you told the same thing, no sir? One line of code, if we want multiple times, we will be using for loop, while loop, no sir? Then what is the difference between a function and a loop? I'll tell it to you. So let's think that for loop. I'll give you an example. Why when for loop is needed? Why when functions are needed? If, for example, let me think. Let me tell you. Okay. Uh, your madam is there, like your teacher is there, your professor or your someone. They told you to write a big amount of thing, like you need to write a big material, a project. You need to write a complete assignment book, but they have not told you how many times to do it. They have not told you how many times to do it. They just told you write this much of assignment, but later on I will tell you how many times to write. For example, think that you need to write 100 pages book. You need to write 100 pages of book, but they have not said you how many times to write 100 pages of book. I may tell you after some time how many times to write. At that moment of time, you don't know how many times to run it. You don't know how many times to run it. So at that time you will be using something called functions. What is a function? I'll tell you, and how it looks. Function sum a comma b console.log a plus b sum 2 comma 3. This is one way of function. The other way of functioning is function hello console.log hello. Okay, so look at the screen once. First I'll talk about the above one, then I'll talk about the below one. Hello is coming. So what I have simply done is, for example, this is just like an how to say. This is just like a complete blueprint. You can think of a blueprint. What happens is, whenever I'm calling hello, this gets executed. Whenever I'm calling hello, this gets executed. For example, I'm calling hello one time hello will be printed. I'm calling two times, this will be executed two times. If I call it three times, this will be executed three times. Now answer me one thing. Okay. No. Then you could have used for loop. Okay. Hello. What will be my output? Can anyone tell? From based on till now what I've explained. Yeah, I'll explain again from the start. I'll make it better. Hello into 3. That is exactly right. You will be getting hello 3 times. Again, from the start I'll explain. Again, from the starting I'll explain. So you have a bit of code. You want to use it multiple times. You want to write a code multiple times. So do you write console.log? Let's not think of for loop for some time. Someone told you to write hello 8 times. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, you have written console.log 8 times. Which one is better, writing it in this way or writing it once, writing console.log hello once and calling it 8 times like hello? Don't think of for loop for now. 1 second. Yeah. Now this does the same thing. This does the same thing. Don't think of for loop for some time. Don't think of for loop for some time. If I run this code, I will get hello 8 times. I'll get hello 8 times. 8 times. If I run the top code, I'll get the hello 8 times. I'll get the hello 8 times. Now, which one do you think is better? First answer me. I'll tell you the difference between function and a for loop. Which one do you think is better? First one. Someone is saying both, there is saying both. What if it is 100 times? Can you write console.log 100 times? Do you think it is better to write 100 times? Not right. Function is better. Now why we are using functions instead of a for loop is because for loop it is fixed. It is fixed. Like it's not randomized. For example, if I write the same for loop for I equal to 0, I less than or equal to 8, 7, I plus plus console.log hello. Now you will understand why function is used and why when for loop is used. Now we will make it. I'll make it better. But here still we are repeating hello. Hello. Yeah, I'll tell it to you. I'll tell it to you. Now you will understand the ways. So, how many times for loop hello will be printed? Tell me. Like, answer me in the chat. How many times, if I run this code, how many times hello will be printed? 7 times. 7 times or yeah, 7 times hello will be printed. Or I equal to 7, it will be printed 8 times. Let's think that it prints 8 times or 7 times. It is fine, 7 times or 8 times. Now, suddenly, like instead of console.log, think that it has a big code. It has a big code, like 5 lines, 8 lines of code. Instead of this one line, it has 8 lines of code. Now, somewhere after writing 100 lines of code, again I want to call this. I want this 5 lines of code. Can I do that with for loop? For example, if I have written some logic here, like okay, now you will understand it better. This is getting called 8 times. This is getting called 8 times, and suddenly after this logic is there, right? For example, I'm in line number 206. I want this functionality again. I want to print console.log hello world Maunesh Venkul. I want to print it again. Can I do it with for loop? Answer me this question. Here I have run the program for 8 times. I have written some logic here. The code got run. Now again at the down, can I call it? Can I again I bring that functionality here? Can I bring that console.log hello world and all? No, right? We cannot do it because your for loop is fixed. Its place is fixed in a program. You cannot change it. You cannot move it. It's not movable. Once you said this has to run 8 times, that will be run for 8 times and it is stopped. It is over. It is completed. You cannot reuse it. But in case of function, instead of using a for loop, if I have written a function there, function names. If I have written function names here, I can call it how many number of times I want. I can call it. For example, here if I want, I can call names. somewhere if I wanted to call 10 times, I can just write for I equal to 0, I less than or equal to 9, I plus plus names. That's it. Now if I run the code, 10 times hello world Monish Venkalugi is gonna printed, and I can call it individually also. After this also I can somewhere at the down again I can call for names for the 11th time. So it is more dynamic like this. This is more dynamic. Sir, we can return in for loop like function. No, you cannot return it. We can call, yeah, we can call n number of times. We can call n number of times. It is similar to methods in Java. Yeah. So that is how that is what as functions are. Have you all understood what are functions? What is a function? Yes, right. 1 second. Is someone calling me? So yeah, sorry for that. Yes, right. Have you all understood? Yes, you said. If anyone not understood, please do message me in Q&A, because to move forward, you need to know this. Again, I'm repeating. You have a bunch of code. Let me take a bigger example for you. I want a big. These are all small only. Okay. Sonia, for example, this is there. This is there. Let's say, let's write some gibberish. Because just to show you, the things can be different. Okay. So what functions actually do is, this piece of code is there, right? This piece of code, if you are using this code again and again and again and again somewhere, instead of, for example, I want it here, I also want it somewhere down, instead of writing it 2 times, I can just keep it inside a function and I can call the function name 2 times. For example, what I wanted to prove is, so yeah, this functionality is there. This code is there. This block of code is there. This 4 lines of code is there. I have to print it 4 times. Instead of writing it 4 times, like this, I can just write it inside a function and I can call the names, like the function name is there, right? That I can call for 4 times. This also gives the same functionality. It's just nothing but you're keeping a code in a block and you're giving it a name. You're calling that name again and again. That's it. You can call that name wherever you want, whenever you want. Did you understood, Sonia? If not, let me know. I'll make it better. I'll still try to make it better. It's just a piece of code that is blocked inside a function where you can call this functionality again and again using this name. It can be any name. You can name anything, and we can call it multiple times. I'll give you one example. For example, you're writing a addition program. I'll tell you why functions are popular. For example, you're writing an addition program. You put it in the chat. How you gonna write an addition program? You yourself put it in the chat. The best way to write an addition program is with a function. If anything other than a function, put it in the chat. Yeah, just like many files in one folder. So anyone. Give addition of two numbers example in function. With function it is easy. With function it is easy. Without functions, if you do an addition program, I will show you how it looks. I will show you how it looks. Let a equal to prompt. Let b equal to prompt. C equal to a plus b. Console.log C. And again, if you are giving any other different numbers instead of 5 and 6, let's say 5 and 6, you are doing 5 plus 6, you will get 11. If you are doing for different numbers, then again you have to say let d equal to 5, maybe 4, let e equal to 6, console.log b plus c, something like this. You have to keep on writing for different numbers, different numbers, different numbers. You have to keep on writing. But with functions, what happens is this addition is there, right? This addition, let's c equal to 5 plus 6, d plus c, e. You are writing it multiple times. You are writing it multiple times. Instead of writing it multiple times, you can make use of functions. What is this functions? If I run this code, my output is 5. My output is 5. Look closely what I'm doing. Look closely what I'm doing. I'm gonna just change the numbers. I'm not gonna touch the code. If I change 2 to 2, 3 to 6 and 4, my output got changed. My output got changed. And this function sum a comma b console.log a plus b, this and all, I can cut it. I can paste it somewhere else. Maybe at the starting I can paste it. Somewhere at the start I have pasted it. I have written all this code. I have written all this bunch of code. And suddenly I remembered, array, I want to do addition again. Now, instead of again doing c equal to 6 plus 4, I can just write sum 6 comma 4. And I will get the output. I can still keep on writing sum 8 comma 9, sum 4 comma 6, sum. Like that, you can give any number of numbers you want, like 5 comma 4, and I can just run the code. Now you tell me how many times I have written the addition logic. We can call it anywhere, Tejas. You can call it anywhere. 4 times. 4 times I have written the logic 4 times. If you see carefully, I have written the logic only once. Only one line of logic I have written. Only one line of logic I have written. Only in line number 2, I said console.log a plus b. Only once I have written the logic. The logic part I have written only once. But I'm calling it 4 times. I'm calling it 4 times. Now, which one is better? Writing 4 times logic is better, or writing logic only 1 time and calling it 4 times is better? What do you think is better? Think and answer. Which one do you think is better? Which one saves computer memory and computer space? Writing 4 times logic or writing only once logic and calling it 4 times? Yeah, that only once. If you write only once, the amount of stress or the amount of power that is needed for the computer reduces. That is why we use functions. Now in functions, there is something called arguments and parameters. What is this parameters and what is this arguments? Here you see on the top, I'll bring that to down here now. I'll keep it somewhere here. If you see this, you see something called a comma b. I'm giving 6 comma 4, 8 comma 9, 4 comma 6, 5 comma 4. I'm getting the output. What do you think this a comma b is doing? What is this a comma b doing? Can anyone guess and tell me what is this a comma b doing? It is doing something. What it is doing, a comma b? Only one time I'm calling when every parameter storing the. That's exactly right. Whenever you're calling some, or whenever you're calling this function, right, you're sending two values. You're sending two values. These values are called arguments. These are called arguments. Your arguments are 6, 4. Your arguments are 6, 4. If you see here, where is this example? Yeah, this no one is calling it. Here, this is an argument. This is an argument. Here, there is no argument. Like that, you call it as an argument. 6, 4 are the arguments, and a, b is taking these values. When this is called, a, b is 6, 4, and we call it parameters. We call it parameters. This a, b is parameters. This is called arguments. When I'm calling sum 6, 4, what is my a and b? Put it in the chat. When I'm calling sum 6, 4, what is my a and b? What is my a and b at that time? No, a and b. I'm just saying what is a and what is b. You're giving me a plus b. I want only what is a and what is b. Yeah, my a is 6 and b is 4. My a is 6 and b is 4. That is why here when I'm doing console.log a plus b, I'm getting 10. Now what for this sum 5, 4? What is a and b? For sum 5, 4. A is 5, B is 4. That's exactly right. A is 5, B is 4. It matches. A first number will go to first parameter, second argument will go to second parameter. Now, you have understood the concept of arguments and parameters. That is good. One more thing. In functions, there is something called return. In functions, there is something called return. R-E-T-U-R-N. There is something called return. What is this return? I will tell you. What is this return? I will tell you. If I run this code, did I get any output? Look at the screen and tell me. Did I get any output? No, I have not got any output. I have not got any output, right? That has to be worked like that. Now if I write console.log sum of 6, 4, or else still to make you better, let add 1 equal to sum 6, 4 console.log add 1. Okay. Now I have not written here console.log. I have written return here. Understand? I have written return. Now if I run the code, what is my output? How do you think it worked? How do you think it worked? I have called add 1 sum 6, 4, which is here, and it has returned a value. That value came to add 1. We are printing add 1. Add 1 became 10 now. Why do you think add 1 became 10? Sum is stored in add 1. That's exactly right. What return does is console.log will print the value. Console.log will print the value. Return will give the value to whom it is called. For example, I called sum. Sum will return the value to me. It won't print. It will return the value to me. I will print the value. That is what return will do. Return will just return the value. It won't print anything. It will just return the value. You can directly write like this also. It will work. Console.log sum 6, 4. You will be still getting 10. What is happening is instead of sum 6, 4, 10 is getting replaced. 10 is getting replaced instead of sum 6, 4. You can think like it is getting replaced. Sum 6, 4 is getting replaced by the return value. Whatever the return value you have here, that is getting replaced here. For example, if I write return Monesh, that only will be printed here. Monesh will be printed here. It doesn't care what you are returning. If you are returning something, that returned value, this return will be getting replaced with sum 6, 4. Instead of sum 6, 4, this value is getting replaced here. See, instead of sum 6, 4, Monesh will be coming here. This is what is happening. That is how a return works. But why console.log was not printing above? Here I have not written any console.log. I have not written console.log. Here I have written. Here I have written. So yeah, I have not written console.log here. If you see, if you have written console.log, then it would have been printed. For example, console.log Monesh. Here only it will be getting print. Here it won't get print. Here even if I call sum 6,4, see what happens now. See Monesh undefined. It got undefined. You should not write. If you have written console.log here, do not write it here. If you have written it here, don't write it here. Only once you have to write it. So that is the point. So what is this default parameters? Default parameters is nothing but sorry. Don't take this. Sorry. Yeah, this will be over. This will be over soon. So I hope all of you have written. Wants to just one more concept is left out. Just one more concept. That's it. Wants to look at me. We have now this function, right? We have a function to add some numbers. Okay. Now for suppose I forgot to, let's write console.log for now. Let's say I forgot to give some number like sum 6,4. Let's say 6,4. Now, what do you think my output will be? Can anyone guess and tell me what's the output? Sorry. I will take 4. Wait. Yeah. Now, what do you think my output is gonna be? Here it takes 2 numbers, but I have given only 1 number. What do you think my output will be? Can anyone put it in chat? 6, 7, 6, 6, 6, 6. That's nice, but I'll run the code anyways. If I run the code, it is NaN. Can anyone tell me why? Yeah, NaN is correct. Actually, NaN is correct. Can anyone tell me why? What is happening here? How many parameters does it need and how many arguments I'm sending? Can anyone tell me why? Not a number, second parameter. Yeah, the program doesn't know what to do. The program, yeah, number plus undefined is NaN. That's right, exactly this. The program doesn't know what to do because here I'm saying I have to give 2 parameters, but when I'm giving only 1 argument. So the computer doesn't know what to do. The program doesn't know what to do. So for solving this kind of problems, we have a solution. We have something called default parameters. And indirectly number plus undefined equal to NaN is exactly right. What there is mentioned in chat. So here we can keep as b equal to 1. When we say b equal to 1 or b equal to 0, let's say b equal to 0, that is better because we are dealing with sum. Now if I run the code, my output is 6. Which is better? Getting NaN is better or getting 6 is better? When I'm doing addition, I'm giving only 1 number. So practically I should get that number back. Practically in real world I should get that number back. So to solve this kind of problems, we use default parameters. Default parameters are nothing but you can mention a equal to 0 and b equal to 0. If I run the code, I'll be getting 6 because this a equal to 0 is getting replaced by this 6. If I don't give anything, for example, I don't give anything, I just leave it empty, then I'll get the answer as 0. Because default parameter a equal to 0 and b equal to 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. So this is much more better. For this kind of purposes, we use something called default parameters. Default parameters is a concept where we will be assigning values here itself to the parameters. If somewhere it is not getting called, instead of getting undefined, it is going to take this number. That is the concept of default parameters. Have you all understood what is default parameters? If not, let me know. I'll help you out. Yes, right? That's good then. Let me check if anything is left off or something. One second. Okay, again I'll repeat. For example, I've not written a B. I've run the program like this, Mohammed. Or anyone who have not, if you have not defined B, it will be always take one perimeter. No, it's not like that, Komal. It is for different programming languages, but for in JavaScript it doesn't work like that. If you don't give anything, it will throw you an NaN. If you see, if I run the code now, I get NaN. Why? Because here I have written a comma b, here I have written a comma b, and I'm not calling anything. I'm not calling anything. It will be always take one parameter. So yeah, it is not different. The program doesn't know what is A and the program doesn't know what is B. If you want, I can even give the individual elements also. Console.log of B. See the output. It is undefined. Undefined plus undefined gives you NaN. Undefined plus undefined gives you NaN. Because A is undefined, B is undefined. You are not defining it. It doesn't know. It doesn't know. So for solving this kind of problems, we use default parameters. Default parameters is nothing but you can give the values directly here itself. Let's say my default A is A and my default B is 8. Let's say my default A is 4 and my default B is 8. Let's think like that. Now if I run the code, I get 4 and 8 because A is 4 and B is 8. If I do console.log A plus B, I'll be getting 12. If I don't give anything here, if I give some values like 6, 4, now what do you think the output will be? Will it be 12 or will it be 10? What is my output here in this case? Can anyone tell me? 10. That is exactly right. Your 6 and 4 will be replaced. Your A becomes 6 and B becomes 4. If you run the code, it is 10. So that is your default parameter. So have you understood, Mohammed? I hope you understood. If anyone not understood, let me know. I'll make it still better. Before going for, it's confusing. It's actually easy. If you give some values, it is gonna take these values. If you don't give any value, it is gonna take these values. For example, now what do you think the output is? Now tell me what is the output. What is the output? Here I'm giving only one number A. I'm not giving any B. Now what happens? That's exactly right. No, someone said null. For that it is no. What happens is you're sending 6, right? A becomes 6. A becomes 6, but B becomes 8 only. B is 8 only, but A becomes 6. So it is 14. Now I'll do something different. Now what is the output in this scenario? Let's take here. I cannot send it like that. But let's take, I'm not sending first element. Now what is the case? Yeah, it is 13. That's exactly right. But here we cannot send it like this, comma and all. So you all got the point. I'll just open Q&A. If anyone, yeah, I'll explain Grid. Sir, how much mathematics do we need to know for programming and how can I learn it? For as a web developer, like basic 10th class mathematics is enough, not even trigonometry and all, just like addition, subtraction. 6th class mathematics, let's say 6th class mathematics is more than enough for becoming a web developer. If you are going into games or anything like that, you need calculus too. You need calculus, you need trigonometry, you need probability. You need to have a bunch of mathematics knowledge if you're going for gaming industry. But if you want to be a web developer, 6th class mathematics is more than enough. So everyone is saying that development will be automated by AI. In this situation, what is the right path to choose the skills that is safe? And regarding this AI part, this ChatGPTs and all, basic web development they can do. What I have even tested few of the things, they can do basic development, but companies are not ready to use completely chat gpt because of two reasons. Chat gpt is this AI technologies and all, they are not government based, they are private companies. But if, for example, let's take Google is relying on OpenAI technology. Let's say AI. They can steal all Google's data. They can steal all Google's data, and it is also AI is also still refining. It's not completely good. I would say what I would suggest to all of you in the class is you learn web development first. Maybe in coming 6 months you'll become a complete web developer, a complete full stack web developer. You'll be working in a company. From there, don't stop there. Once you become a web developer, once you know React and all, don't stop there. Instead of stopping there, learn web 3. Web 3, that is what I would suggest you. Learn web 3. What is this web 3? If you go to internet, even I am explaining web 3 nowadays, because I see there is a potential in it. I see there is a lot of potential in it. From my experience, I think there is a lot of potential in Web3, because if you are able to learn Web3, Web3 is nothing but your Web3 is not only about your blockchain and cryptocurrencies. It is much more. It is much more. It is actually next future, if you ask me. So try to learn Web3. From there, when you once become a full stack web developer, try to learn web3 or learn some things like cyber security, or you can go to data science. You can do any of this stuff. So that is what I suggest. Because whatever the things that we do in web 2, maybe in the coming 10 years, I'm not talking about right now, in the coming 10 years, if the artificial intelligence growth is in the same way, I think that a normal web developer can be easily replaced by a artificial intelligence. That is what I think. From my knowledge, that's what I think. I don't know, because we cannot predict the future. But if the AI growth is it in the same way, then a normal basic junior web developer can be easily replaced by an AI. So I would suggest you to become a web developer first, and then move to web3 or blockchain, anything. Move to any different concepts, because blockchain cannot be automated by an AI. There has to be humans sitting and doing the work. If it is automated by AI, it becomes huge trouble there. They can overtake the cryptocurrency markets and all. So they won't give AI to blockchain and all. There are actual humans who are doing the work. They are automating them, but actual humans are driving the wheel. It's not AI now. So Web3 and blockchains will be your future. I hope I answered you, Tushar. If not, if you are not satisfied, let me know. I'll be going through the material, all the examples again, so don't worry. Greet, I will again explain. Greet, I'm gonna explain. Greet, I will explain. I'll explain every example that is provided here. How to compare R value in one A variable? You asked me, right? I'll show you this. Where I have kept it. They removed it. 1 second. Yeah. So someone asked me, right, how to compare all values in one variable, how to compare arrays. This is the code for comparing two array values. What actually happening is, this compare arrays is a normal function. It's normal function. You don't get confused. This is called, I'll explain in a bit. This is called arrow functions. These are called arrow functions. Arrow functions are functions. Instead of writing it function compare array, instead of writing it in this way, function compare arrays, you can write it in this way. This is called arrow function. Just the syntax is different. Rest of the things are same. Here you will be seeing something called equal to and a greater than symbol. We call it arrow function. Arrow function is same like your normal function, but the syntax is different. That's it. This is a program for you to compare two arrays. We use something called includes. If you remember in previous class, I told you it is gonna check in dot includes will return true or false. If 1 is there in here, 2 is there in here, 3 is there in here, 4 is there in here, 5 is there in here, then this array is equal to this array. That is what this function does. It is a bit complicated for now, right now for you, but you can use this. I'm putting in comment, Ravindra, for you this one. You can have a look at it. This one is answered. Which skill is needed for blockchain technologies? You need to learn something called solidity. Right now I cannot explain because others get confused. There is solidity, you can learn Ethereum and all. But right now I don't want to talk about it. But I do write articles on Web3. You can have a look at it. Or if you want to know more about it, you can message me in LinkedIn. But that's a complete different one. Blockchain technologies is a bit different from what we are doing right now. So how much mathematics do you know? Where did you know? From school. It's a very basic question. We learn mathematics from school and college. Normal mathematics is enough. So please can explain variable and state. All material area speaks about variable as container and program changing state. What is variable actually and what is state? Aditya, are you learning React? If you're learning React, because the states concept comes in React, variable is your normal variable. Let my name equal to Monesh. This is a container. We can think of it as a container, a boiling container, something like a pot or something, where we will be keeping Monesh string in it. We can think it as a container. Your variable, every day we are using, right? That is a variable. Regarding states, I'll explain in coming class. States is related to React. In React, by doing something, the complete state of the application changes. That is called state change. I'll explain you about state changes in coming classes. But this is a variable, a normal variable. By studying Web3, can we regulate cryptocurrency? Not only by studying Web3, to regulate cryptocurrency, you need to have big servers. Like you need to have my room full of servers. If you have them, you can regulate cryptocurrency. You can generate your own cryptocurrency. It is possible. But it needs a lot of electricity. It needs a lot of equipment to do that. You do mining, that's good then. Do you have servers, Devesh? Are you doing with a normal PC? Like, are you really seriously into mining, or you're normally doing it? It's servers. Oh, that's great then. If you're doing it on your own, then that's great. You can regulate. Please put some light on blockchain. Yeah, Devesh. Then, if you all have a WhatsApp group, you can even share your knowledge to our friends regarding what to do, how to do, and all. Please talk messages or classes, man. I didn't get it. Okay. This one is answered. Yeah, form a group, and if possible, if someone knows something, please do share it with others. Yeah, I'll put a chain on blockchain. ES5, ES6, and ES5 is gonna come in later classes. I'm gonna explain this what ES6 brought newly. That's nice, Devesh. Do share your like whatever you know about Web3 to our fellow mates. In Alma Beta complete course, we also have a blockchain development website teaches. If the time comes, like maybe for one module you'll be having one type of instructor. If that module, if there is a chance, I'm gonna take it. I think yeah, object-oriented programming, right? Shiva, to answer this, JavaScript is not an object-oriented programming. It is object-based programming. JavaScript is an object-based programming language. Object-oriented programming is a style of programming. It is a style of programming. Any programming language, if you take Java, you can write it object-oriented programming. JavaScript, you can do it as an object-oriented programming. But you cannot call simply JavaScript is an object-oriented programming. You cannot call it. It is an object-based programming. So that is the thing. Now I'll just go through the materials once. One second, just 1 second. Yeah. Now let's come from top to bottom once. This, if it, yeah, or else because all of these are already completed, you go through the material once, like all of you. If you think any example you did not understand, let me know. I will explain it. Someone asked me about greet. I think this is what they were asking, greet. So this greet function is nothing but it's just calling. We are writing a function called greet. This greet is just a name. Instead of greet, you can name Monish also. Doesn't matter. You can name it anything. It doesn't matter. It's just a name. It's just a variable name. If I call it, I'll be just getting hello there. Console.log hello there. That's it. Object based is nothing but everything I told you, right? Everything in JavaScript is objects. Everything is in JavaScript is objects. JavaScript is built by using objects. So we call it object based programming language. It's an object based programming language. Lokesh. Explain join method. Where is this join method? Where have you seen it? Join method is not here, I guess. Yeah, everyone go through the material, and if you want to know about any example, let me know. I'll explain it, because all of these examples are pretty easy. You can already do it. That's why. Where have you seen join method, Ravi? Are you or you're asking me normally, like what is join method? Oh, it is in array quiz. Oh, okay. But anyways, it's not there in material. But since you asked me, I'll tell you. Let's take an array. Let's fruits equal to apple, banana, orange. Let's take this fruits array. Now we can do console.log. We can simply say fruits dot join, and you can also leave it empty, I guess. Once I'll run it. Yep, it just does this thing. Like you said, apple, banana, and orange, right? It combines and it gives you a neat output. You can also keep it like dash. You can also keep dash like this, and if you run the code, you will get apple dash banana dash orange. It is nothing but you're getting my point, right, Ravindra? Here in between them, you're gonna join a dash. If you keep star, it will be apple star, banana star, orange, your output. Like this. If you keep a plus, it will be apple plus banana plus orange. Like this. Did you understood, Ravindra? If not, let me know. I'll help you out. So I hope you got it, Ravindra. If not, let me know. Again, this one I can explain it in LinkedIn, Ravindra, not here because others get confused. That's why this one right now, put it in LinkedIn. I'll help you out with this one. It's an easy one actually.